This tiny country is smaller than Connecticut. It has fewer people than the city of Houston. And yet, it just spent more money on military hardware per citizen than almost any nation on Earth. Qatar doesn't fight wars. But if it ever had to, this is what would come out of the desert. Patriot missile batteries. Rafale fighter jets. German-made battle tanks. A missile shield built to stop the exact kind of attack that hit it in 2025. Today, we're breaking down the real military power of Qatar. The missiles, the jets, the tanks, and the air defense network most people don't even know exists. Stick around, because number 3 on this list is a system most Gulf nations don't even have yet. Qatar is one of the richest countries in the world per capita, sitting on the 3rd largest natural gas reserves on the planet. But wealth like that comes with a target on your back. The country has under 17,000 active duty troops, smaller than a single U.S. Army division. So instead of relying on manpower, Qatar has built a military strategy around 3 things: the best equipment money can buy, powerful allies, and hosting the largest American military base in the Middle East, Al Udeid Air Base, home to U.S. Central Command's forward headquarters. And in June 2025, that strategy was tested for real. Iran launched a missile barrage at Al Udeid in direct retaliation for U.S. strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities. Qatar's air defenses shot down most of the incoming missiles. That single night changed how seriously the world looks at Qatar's arsenal. So let's break down exactly what that arsenal looks like, starting with the missiles. Qatar doesn't build its own missiles. It buys the best from the West, and layers them like a fortress, from long range down to point blank. 1. Patriot PAC-3. At the top of the pyramid sits the American-made Patriot PAC-3 system, a medium to long-range shield designed to intercept aircraft, cruise missiles, and ballistic missiles. Qatar operates multiple Patriot batteries, and this was one of the systems credited with knocking down Iranian missiles during the 2025 attack. 2. NASAMS. The Norwegian shield. Next is NASAMS, the Norwegian-built National Advanced Surface-to-Air Missile System. After the 2025 strike, Qatar didn't just keep NASAMS, it made it more mobile, mounting launch units on Mercedes-Benz Unimog trucks so the system is harder for an enemy to target and track. 3. Rheinmetall Skynex. The last line of defense for close-in defense against drones and helicopters, Qatar fields the German Skynex system, a radar-guided rapid-fire cannon mounted on a mobile platform. Originally designed to stop attack helicopters, it's now proving just as valuable against the growing threat of drone swarms. 4. THAAD. Coming soon in 2025, Qatar placed an order for the American THAAD system, Terminal High Altitude Area Defense, one of the most advanced anti-ballistic missile shields on Earth. It's not deployed yet, but once it arrives, Qatar will have one of the most complete missile defense networks in the Gulf. 5. Older but still active systems. Qatar also still operates British Rapier and French-German Roland short-range missile systems, along with man-portable air defense systems like the Mistral and Blowpipe, shoulder-fired missiles for defending troops on the move. 6. Anti-ship and strike missiles. On the offensive side, Qatar's Navy carries the French Exocet anti-ship missile, one of the most combat-proven ship killers in the world. Mounted on its new Fincantieri-built Corvettes and its flagship amphibious vessel, the Fulk. For ground forces, Qatar fields the American HIMARS rocket system, the Javelin anti-tank missile, and older Cold War-era systems like the Cornet, Milan, and Hot anti-tank guided missiles, giving its infantry serious punching power against armored vehicles. Put it all together, and Qatar has built a layered air defense umbrella, long range, medium range, short range, and point defense, all stacked to protect one of the most strategically important air bases on the planet. If Qatar's missiles are its shield, its air force is the sword, and this is where the real money has gone. The Qatar Emiri Air Force now fields well over 120 combat aircraft, ranking it among the top 20 air forces in the world by fleet strength, an incredible number for a country this small. 1. Dassault Rafale. Qatar operates dozens of French Rafale fighters, one of the most capable 4.5 generation multi-role jets flying today, equally at home in air-to-air combat or precision ground strikes. Qatar is now upgrading its fleet to the newer F4 standard, adding better sensors, networking, and weapons integration. 2. Boeing F-15QA from the United States, Qatar received a customized version of the F-15 known as the F-15QA, arguably the most advanced F-15 variant ever built, packed with modern avionics, a new radar, and the ability to carry a heavy mixed load of air-to-air and precision strike weapons. 3. Eurofighter Typhoon. Rounding out its fighter trio, Qatar also flies the Eurofighter Typhoon, giving it a rare combination, operating top-tier fighter jets from 3 different Western supply chains at once: France, the United States, and a European consortium. That's not an accident. It's a deliberate strategy to keep every major arms-producing power invested in Qatar's security. 4. Support and transport aircraft. Behind the fighters sits a fleet of support aircraft: the A330 multi-role tanker transport for mid-air refueling, C-17 and C-130 transport planes for hauling troops and cargo, and a growing fleet of helicopters including the NH-90 for both transport and naval operations. 5. Drones. Qatar has also moved into unmanned warfare, acquiring Turkish Bayraktar TB2 combat drones and ordering the American MQ-9B Skyguardian, a long-endurance surveillance and strike drone used for monitoring its borders, coastline, and gas fields around the clock. With this mix, Qatar isn't just buying jets to look impressive at air shows, it's built an air force capable of real interoperability with the US, France, Britain, and NATO forces in a crisis. On the ground, Qatar's army is small in number but heavily armored. 1. Leopard 2A7+. The backbone of Qatar's tank fleet is the German-made Leopard 2A7+, widely considered one of the most advanced main battle tanks in the world, with composite armor, a powerful 120mm smoothbore gun, and modern thermal sighting systems. Qatar ordered over 100 of these tanks along with matching PzH-2000 self-propelled howitzers. 2. PzH-2000 self-propelled artillery. Speaking of which, the PzH-2000 is one of the fastest-firing artillery systems on the planet, capable of unleashing a burst of shells that all land on target at the same time, even when fired at different trajectories. 3. VBCI and Piranha infantry vehicles. For troop transport and mechanized infantry, Qatar operates the French VBCI wheeled infantry fighting vehicle and the Swiss-designed Piranha, both able to move soldiers around the battlefield under armor while providing fire support with mounted cannons. 4. VAB armored personnel carriers. Older French VAB armored personnel carriers round out Qatar's mechanized fleet, many of which are currently being modernized to extend their service life. 5. Anti-tank and artillery support. Ground troops are also backed by Denel G5 towed howitzers from South Africa and a range of anti-tank guided missile teams armed with Cornet, Milan, and HOT systems, giving even light infantry units serious anti-armor capability. It's a small force on paper, but tank for tank, Qatar's ground equipment rivals what much larger regional militaries field. Qatar's wealth comes from the sea, specifically from the massive offshore gas fields it shares with Iran. So protecting its coastline isn't optional, it's existential. The Qatari Emiri Naval Force has modernized fast, thanks to a multi-billion-dollar contract with Italy's Fincantieri. That deal delivered the Al-Zabara-class corvettes and Mushrab-class offshore patrol vessels, along with the crown jewel of the fleet, the Fulk, an 8,800-ton amphibious transport ship equipped with its own integrated air defense system, capable of launching helicopters and landing craft while defending itself against missile attack. Add in fast attack craft built in Turkey, and Qatar has built a navy designed for one job: keeping its gas platforms and coastlines safe from any threat that comes from the water. Here's the honest picture. By raw numbers, Qatar ranks outside the top 30 militaries in the world. It simply doesn't have the population or troop numbers to compete with giants like Iran, Saudi Arabia, or Turkey. But raw numbers don't tell the whole story. Qatar has built something different: a small, ultra-modern, highly specialized force, backed by the deepest pockets in the region, layered with some of the most advanced air defense technology in the world, and tied directly into the security guarantees of the United States, France, and NATO through Al Udeid Air Base. In other words, Qatar isn't trying to win a war alone. It's built a military design to survive the first strike, hold the line, and let its alliances do the rest.